aniga dooda noolaan lahaa, I 100% think you would be voting for Kamala Harris. You would be voting for liberals and Democrats. Hi, assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to talk about Trump winning the elections and how this would be affecting the Somalis. Trump winning. What does that look like for us as Somalis? First of all, I'm not surprised that Trump won because one, there's a hadith in Islam that says, deceitful people and liars are going to be put in places of power, and people wouldn't be believing the honest, caring, genuine people. People would believe liars more than that, and we've seen that in the elections. We've been seeing that among the fake news. We've seen that in Somalia with the current president. The previous president, he made a lot of progress in the country, but now people went back and voted for this guy who really didn't care about the state of Somalia and the people that live there. So we're seeing that all over the world, actually, like in a lot of African countries and many places, people are believing liars more than they're believing the good, honest and kind people who want to make a difference in their community. And another thing is Trump winning the states. This could be the downfall of the country, mainly because he's going to affect education. He's going to affect women's rights. He's going to affect like a lot of people's rights, not just women. And that any community that does things like that, it leads to their downfall at some point. I mean, in the Quran, there's an ayah that talks about communities that do injustice towards others. They don't prosper at some point. Like they're not going to prosper. I don't know which surah it is, so I don't know where to find it. But when I read the Quran, I went through it all. I came across that, and I was actually not surprised. I thought of Somalia when I read that, because I'm like, it makes sense why Somalia and a lot of Muslim countries are not doing very well right now, because there's so much injustice towards women. There's so much racism. There's so many discrimination towards other qabils or whatever, different people in the country. There's a lot of bad people get away with their crimes, and the victims are the ones who are just ignored in the countries, in a lot of Muslim countries. So I wasn't surprised when I came across that. I 100% thought of Muslim countries. I thought of Somalia as well. So it is and I'm not saying America is perfect or the West is perfect in their system, but they have done so much progress. There's a lot of rights, and women have their rights. There's human rights are respected. There's so many things. There's laws put in place to protect people. Whether the laws are being followed by the system or not, that's a different issue, because at the end of the day, people are biased. There's always going to be a police or whatever, or somebody, a judge who doesn't care about the law and wouldn't care about the victim who went through stuff. But there's laws, and people tried their best to create a system where there's equality here, and that's why there's prosperity in these countries, and not so much in Muslim countries, because we left the deen. If the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he was alive right now, I think 100% he would have preferred dhamatay over Muslim countries. I'll be honest. Why? Because there's justice more just here than over there. Like in Aseto, women are treated like nothing. Dadki waa la dilaya, ka waa laga siinaya. Waa aragnay naag Somali oo hooyo Somali oo ninkeeda gubay waa dhimatay. And when people were trying to fight for her rights, some people were saying, including women, some women were even saying, ninki la dilin, the guy who killed her, they're fighting for his rights, saying he shouldn't be killed because naag waa konton, nin waa boqol, blah 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 blah. Excuse me, if it was like that, where? Just because I think dadkeen wax baa ka qaldan, you know what I mean? Quraanka ma aqristiin, waa wax aan ka yaab aniga. There's so many jahilin. All they do, they like to argue, and they just like to defend things that they don't understand. Where is the whole boqol konton ka imaanaysa? Because of inheritance? There's a reason for that. Hadii la inheritance ka wiilasha, women gabdhaha, they get 50% of their brothers, does not mean that their life is worth 50%. There's a reason why that was said, because men are usually providing and stuff. But something is off, man. I don't get it. She was pregnant. Let's think about that. She was pregnant, okay? That means if she was carrying a gabar, she's a baqal. If she was carrying a boy, she was 150. So maybe the guy should be killed 1.5 times. Her life is just worthy, just like anybody else, just like the guy. But to fight for, to say the guy doesn't deserve punishment because Naktawa 50 and the guy was baqal, that's ridiculous. And this is just one example. There's so many examples of injustice happening in the country. And regardless of whether a court kala aado waxaneeto or not, they don't do nothing about it. At the end of the day, it's all about qabil. Qabil kaneeto, and there's always about qabil and mahallaha misogyny, right? If the guy is a qabil or Weey or whatever they call it, ilaha Weey. I don't know why the fuck they call it the big qabils and the small qabils. Really? Are you kidding me? Waxaneeto horta ilahi amarkiisa. Actually, if I had a wish, I would not be a Somali. I'll be honest with you guys. If I had a choice, I would not choose to be a Somali. There's nothing to be proud of as a Somali. Our culture is disgusting. The way people are treated is horrible. We're arrogant people. We think we're better than people. كل مسلمين بان هني. لا. Yeah, Muslimin batin, but you don't even practice the deen. So, what is being a Muslim? What is being a Muslim doing for you? If you're not even practicing the deen, if you've never opened the Quran, all you do is, and you think you know the deen. There's more to the deen, okay? Like, hello, wake up. There's a reason why the first I never looked at the gym. اقرأ أقرأ صوح, read, open the book, read it. By the way, another thing I would advise you don't have to believe everything I'm saying when it comes to giving reference to the deen. Please read for yourself. This is not a religious channel. But my point is, I am someone who enjoys reading the deen, not just Islam. I read other religions as well. So please, I would encourage you. Deen has such huge impact on Muslims, on all the other, on everybody in the world. To be honest, just like Christians, the Deen has so much impact on them as well. Like, I'm a Muslim. Do you even know what being a Muslim means? Do you know what Ilahi has told you? What His messages are? Why things happen? How they happen? Why was this said and why not the other way? If you don't like something, ask yourself why. You're not supposed to be a hollow wax. There's so many ayat in the Quran that has so. People who think, people who reflect. Are you one of those, or you just believe anything you're told? It's like, oh, so you just believe. Have you ever thought this doesn't make sense? This is not making sense. Why would Ilahi make another human being half just because they're a different gender? It's not making sense. Please think about it. Don't wax lagu sheega iska aaminin. There's a reason, men have, of course, men and women are different physically, biologically, and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that women's worth is less than a man's. No, there's an ayah in the Quran that says, enough about Basit is equal to saving the entire humanity. He didn't say saving a man. He just said any human being, any enough, okay? So please, honestly, guys, my advice is, as Somali, deen and our culture is kind of intertwined, and sometimes we like to claim everything is deen, but instead it's actually our culture, So I want you to really think about deen. Deen has a huge impact on you. So please, there's a reason why Ilahi said, "Aqri sawah," read it. And you don't have to, again, do not believe everything I tell you. I'm just telling you my opinion after reading, the Quran once. And after reading the backgrounds of the surahs and ayahs once. Literally, I just read it once. I didn't do a second round, okay? So I do plan to go through it again just to, get a different perspective. Because again, that's the whole thing about deen. When you do it again and again, every time you read it, you actually get a different meaning of things as well. It's not always the same message you're getting. And it also depends on, what you're going through at the moment as well, So Ilahi has His own way of, and make dua for yourself so that you can get the best understanding how Ilahi wants you to understand things. Okay, back to Trump. I 100% think he would be voting for Kamala Harris. He would be voting for liberals and Democrats. I have met Somalis who say, no way, I will never vote for Democrats. I will never vote for liberals. They support gays or they support abortion. Let's think about these points, okay? First of all, when it comes to gays, there's a hadith, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there's a hadith that talks about how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his wives, they used to hang out with men who would put on makeup or who would, who were not very straight, manly, okay? And his wives were very comfortable with this men that they were not putting on the proper hijab. That he ended up telling them, even though they're not behaving like straight men, you still need to cover up, okay? So what does this tell us? That the Prophet did not have a problem with men who are not the typical straight manly men, who were hanging out with women who were putting on makeup, who were dressing like women. He didn't have a problem with that. But you know why he didn't have a problem with them? Because he's a secure man. Men who are having problem with gays, a lot of them are insecure. ayadii quraanka bay wrongly u qaateen. Oh yeah, maxaa lahaye qawmuluud. Okay, adiga ma maxaa lahaye manawi baatay markii qawmuluud maxaa ka qusay? And also think about it, Ilahi created that kind of knowing very well they're going to be turning into LGBTQ at some point. Right or wrong, he knew it. He knows how our ending is going to be. Hatta aniga Muslim ba ahay, but who knows? Maybe in the future, Ilahi may but if that were to happen, Ilahi already knew this, right? Yes. Or today's a time actually. I'm going to talk about my story about my childhood experience. When I was a kid, I went to a Christian school growing up, and we had to learn the Bible. And all we learned is Quran silo hifdiyo. We were not really learning Islam into the meanings and all that kind of stuff. Just the basics. I actually knew more about Christianity than I knew about Islam most of my life. I think I still know a lot of Christianity stuff because I had to learn the Bible, right? But anyway, I'm going to talk about that in another video. That had a huge impact on me. But as a kid, I wasn't sure what religion is the true religion, because I was learning two religions alongside, and I was only 8-9 years old. So obviously I'm being exposed to two religions. It was a bit okay, my family is Muslim, but school is teaching me this. So which one is the good religion? I was questioning myself like that as a kid. I didn't know what to believe in, But anyway, I'm going to talk about that in another video. But for now, all I'm trying to say is every religion, even though we say Dintian is great and all that kind of stuff, the other things also have a lot of good things that we could learn from. Whether it's Christianity or Judaism or even Hinduism and Buddhism, all that kind of stuff. And we already know in Islam there's an ayah that says Nabi was sent to every community, meaning that this knowledge of Nabi. And Nabi has brought knowledge to every community all over the world. So sometimes messages have changed. Maybe Nabi Ilahi Abud, and he also said, other messages will see. But then that over time they stopped believing in Hal Ilahi. But then they still have some of the message really in their communities. So you don't have to believe in everything other other religions say. The things that the basic thing Ilahi, Halwa, if they don't believe in Ilahi is a Hal, that's okay. But is there some other things that that you could relate to, things that you like as well, Those could be messages that came from the Nabi that came to them years ago, So you don't have to disregard everything just because din sahwa, and then galo, sani why, whatever. I don't care. I don't want to hear what they have to say. Please, jahilnimada joojiya. Being a jahil is not good for you at the end of the day. It's not gonna get you very far in life, okay? Quran akhrista, and really, honestly, Quran akhrista. Another thing is when it comes to abortion, people who are voting for conservatives because of the abortion topic. Let me tell you this. First of all, we have the four Muslim scholars, Shafi'i, Hanbali, Hanafi, and what's the other guy's name? I forgot. But those four guys, I think some of them do believe abortion is allowed. Others don't believe abortion is allowed. But at the end of the day, you gotta use logic. Ilahi said, مسكح هذا الاستعمال. Again, there's so many ayahs. Ilahi says He loves people who think, people who use their brains, who reflect, who don't just please, whether Sheikh bin Adam ما Sheikh Nabi ما. Let's make it very, very clear. The Sheikh is not Nabi. Sheikh, it doesn't matter what he learned. They're not Nabi, okay? Whether Islamic school كصوب حي or Quran صحيح it does not mean. At the end of the day, we're a human being and he's biased. He's going to say things and also he's going to add his own opinions and biases in it. So I think as a human being, as a Muslim, you need to go do your own research and learn it yourself. أقرأ and Ilahi guidance with you and ask yourself, okay, what is Ilahi telling me here? What is the message I'm getting from this? Ask yourself questions. Don't just read for the sake of reading because you want to say, oh, I read the Quran. That's not the whole point. It's understanding and reflecting on it as well. But anyway, my point is abortion. There's some scholars, some sects that have allowed in Islam abortion. So I don't understand. Again, these scholars are also bin Adam why. So they also have their biases. Some, what Adan people and Ghana people say when they hear this stuff? Oh, Islam is peaceful. Oh, Islam is this. Islam, women's right. Islam gave rights to women years and years ago. Okay, so what? Where is the rights right now? We don't see it happening in Muslim countries. Okay? Freaking open your eyes. You can't claim things. Claiming something that you're practicing makes sense. You're all claiming things. Yet you don't practice it. You don't care about it. So really, open your eyes and start working on things. Stop claiming things that you don't care about, you don't believe in. Especially in Nimanka, I honestly cannot understand some Muslim men. They're the ones who argue, he's going to go abuse a woman afterwards. He's going to be racist to the are you freaking kidding me? There's actually an ayah in the Quran that so you expect good from others while you yourself are not practicing it. Allah does not like people like that. And I think that ayah ends, don't you see how hypocritical that looks like? Again, I'm not when I try to remember an ayah that I read, I'm not saying word for word that's exactly what it said. I'm just giving the understanding from the ayah. Okay? Don't quote me for it and look for the exact verse. That's what I'm saying. Please read your own Quran. Read it. If you need the translation that I read, I don't mind sharing it with you guys. But you'll ask me that in the comments and I'm going to share that. My point is, the Muslim community, most of us are hypocrites. We say one thing, but yet we do another. And the main reason I'm saying this is because we like to claim Deen Tene is perfect, women are treated all good, women's right is this and that, yet the same people saying these things are the ones who are fighting with women over dowry. Like they have a problem with she wants more dowry. If the nink has lack, why can't she ask for more? Literally, there's an ayah saying you're supposed to pay according to Abu. But no. Women shouldn't be, you're being greedy, you're being a gold digger. Ilahi literally told you you're supposed to pay according to what you can. You're not supposed to be stingy and paying a couple $3,000 when you're a millionaire. Just like Chunks. Actually, I think I'm gonna make a video about that. A lot of men were so bitter and mad when they found out that Chunks, the YouTuber, paid so much money on his for the dowry of the Gawada. I don't know, 300,000 Bamakli. I don't know. I don't have facts or anything, but that's what Hamakli. But they were so angry about it. It's like, okay, the guy is a millionaire. What is your issue? That's that he's supposed to pay more if he can. I think nobody's expecting you to pay 300k. Sorry, Gawada is just gonna take whatever award. Nobody's at the end of the day here, we're not. Islam is a deen of logic. I think logic why are you comparing yourself to that guy? Unless you're saying even if you're a millionaire, you're gonna be stingy and you wouldn't care about the deen. He was capable and he did it. And good for him. That's what you're supposed to do. If you can, you're supposed to do it the way you can. If you can't, that's okay. Do whatever, how much do you awooda? But honestly, you want to take advantage of women. Not into she's gonna lose how she looked like. All these things happen to her body, yet you expect, do not contribute a thing. Please, where is this coming from? Islam is shaytan at this point. I don't want anything to do with your Islam. Let's be honest. Again, I'm repeating this. This channel is for women, okay? If you are a woman, this channel is for you. A Somali woman who has experienced injustice and discrimination, or who is tired of the drama in the community, who is annoyed by the injustice that happens in the community, and the double standards, and the fact that men are always 24/7 wanting to argue with women for no reason. But all I'm trying to say is, a Somali community and a lot of Muslim countries, they don't care about people's rights, and that's why their countries are not doing well. Here in the West, even though some Muslims and Somalis look down on the West people because, oh, Gala, why? Their religion is bad. You guys think that way. They respect human rights. That's why there's progress happening here. Education is put above. And guess what? In Islam, education puts above everything. If you're looking down on education, if you have a problem with the government getting education or somebody going after education, then you are dumb. Stop claiming Islam. Being a Muslim doesn't just mean Ilahi does not expect you to be a doqan. If you chose to be a doqan, please stop talking for us. You're embarrassing us. Anyway, Trump winning. I 100% think it's going to lead to the downfall, because he's going to go against education, women's rights, he's going to affect a lot of things negatively, and over the years, it might not be now, it might be a decade or two later, it will lead to their downfall. I don't think America is going to be the superpower like it's been for years now. This will affect them, and unfortunately, it will affect a lot of countries. But it is not shocking. Of course, as a woman, I wanted Kamala to win, because this would be inspiration to a lot of young girls and women everywhere in the world, that they can go after their goals and they can make it if they wanted to. They could be anything they wanted to. Being a president is really up there, so it is like powerful. And I honestly think the Prophet ﷺ would have supported a woman being a leader, because guess what? He was married to Khadija. Khadija was leading her own business. She was a badass woman, like, hello, and he was married to her for 25 years until she died, or over 20 years until she died. So that's all I'm gonna say is, as a Somali, you guys really need to think about votes. If you are not someone who votes right now, please really think through and start taking it seriously. And if you live in the West, these are things that are going to affect you personally as Somali, because we're black and we're Muslims, and this is going to be coming after. They're going to come for us. And also, we're not a community that people like, because again, we don't have a lot of things that people can like about us. What would people like about us? Honestly, we don't have good characters. I mean, most of us, some of them claim 100% of us as Muslim, even though that's not the case. We literally have seen Somalis or they have existed even back when Somali peaceful ahead. There used to be a church in Somalia. I have never been to Somalia, but one of my friends who lived in Somalia as a kid, she told me even though but yes, there used to be churches, there used to be Somali gala, always wages to Haneto. There's still Somali gala, Somali atheist, and they have their own reasons, okay? At the end of the day, people are allowed, people have a right to stay in a religion, to believe in a religion, or to leave the religion. It is an individual thing. I don't understand the whole thing of, if somebody's not doing exactly what you want them to do, then you're losing it. Why? I think didn't Ilahi know this person was going to change at some point? I think if you're really a good Muslim, you're going to be saying, Alhamdulillah, Ilahi, thank you for the guidance. Thank you for Salat al-Mustaqim. I just say thank you for it. And make me a better person. Because we can all be better, can't we? I mean, I don't think I'm the best version of myself. We can always be better, right? We can always have a better relationship with Ilahi. We can always be a better human being. We can always try to see others differently. And also, that's the thing with Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Regardless, even though he was Nabi, he could see malaik. He could see so many things. Like, he's a superpower human being. Like, we weren't like him, we're nothing like him. He was not looking down on others. He wasn't looking down on Galada. He wasn't looking down on anybody who was different than him. He saw it as, he felt sorry for them, if anything. He saw it like, man, the way he saw it is probably like them. Like, it sucks that, they're very far off from the right path. He was feeling sorry for them. So that's what I'm saying. If you truly care for somebody who's living their life differently than you, you're not going to come from a place of judging them. Instead, if you can talk to them in a nice way, you will try to advise them. Also, there's an ayah in the Quran that says, tell them, when you're talking to somebody who's different from you, you don't tell them, listen to me. Say, can you explain to me? Again, I don't know which surah it is, but I've come across that ayah a couple of times when I was randomly going through some surahs. It might be actually in Surah Baqarah. But yeah, I think actually it is in Surah Baqarah, because I play Surah Baqarah regularly. So it is, the ayah says, don't tell the person, listen to me, like I'm right, listen to me. Tell them, explain to me, so that you can hear where they're coming from. Hear them out. That's the thing. If you, again, I'm repeating this again, please read your Quran. Read your Quran. It's not really smart for you to live life without, and call yourself a Muslim, and then the only Islam that you practice is what you've been told by others. Read the Quran. Read the translation. If you don't speak Arabic, if you understand Somali better, Somali أقرصه. هذه English فهمي English أقرصه. But come on, like, honestly, forever. Like, it's not smart. Again, I'm not saying I'm the perfect Muslim. I'm definitely not the perfect Muslim. I'm still like learning. I'm still, trying to be better, a better version. I can always be better, right? Like, there's things I struggle with, but all I'm trying to say is, Deen Tada, please do not take it for granted. Ilahi gave you the Quran so that you could learn from it and benefit from it. And read. But yeah, again, Trump, it was meant to happen. End times al-wujra, so akhirada isku diyara Quran kada akhra. So that's all I'm going to say. And also, it's not surprising. And vote for Democrats and liberals who actually care about you and your rights. Even though you're different, even though they don't like, some of them don't like Islam, they support you as a human being. Imagine that. That's what I mean. Being a good leader. They're not going to be a perfect leader, but at least they care about your rights, even though they don't agree with what Islam does all over the world, which is really horrible when we are honest with each other. Islam is known to have done horrible things. Or not Islam technically, but Muslims. وأعرفنا أفغانستان ناجي هذا ولودي انت حلان. Not only that, مثل هذا كلام حتى. Imagine the world we live in. ما هذا كتير الله كورن. إلهي هذا القضية لودي. والله, I mean, honestly, if I had any power, I would literally give حبضة ناقة so they can kill this motherfuckers. Or Afghanistan. Women need to learn how to defend themselves, and also deen tabarta, because this men take advantage of you when you don't know the deen, and they could twist the deen around you and tell you what to do and what not to do, and what is right and what is not right, when you really need to. And that's actually how cults are formed. That's Judaism. There's books on aqrin. Imagine So adiga, you have a deen oo ku ogolan inta akhriso Quraankaada. Ma Quraanka iska akhristid. At least we don't have a Quran telling us you can read this part of the Quran, you know what I mean? Judaism have books where only men read. And I've always wondered what is in those books. I don't have the time to search into it. Anyway, all I'm going to say is, as a Somali, as a Muslim, or as a black, if you're not Muslim, just as a Somali, you should be 100% voting for liberals and Democrats every single time, every chance you get, if you live in the West Side. And if you're back home and there's no voting, please, I feel sorry for people back home. I think I've never been to Somalia again, but I feel sorry for the situation there because there's no democracy there. Everything's qabil, qabil, qabil. I wish there was people could vote because things would have been a bit different, and I wish people voted based on qafka fi'an, not because of qabil hebel. Who cares about qabil? Qabil is not going to get you to Jannah. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? But anyway, you don't have to worry. I know if you're stressed out, just remember that this is meant to happen. It was Ilah wa qari already. Ilah knows qafka intu xun yahay, but way qornet. Just like Ilah knew Fir'aun markuu a leader, he knew he was a bad person, but he didn't kill him. He let him be a leader for years and years. He gave him multiple chances to be better. But at the end of the day, there's some things that are out of our control. Ilahi has his own reasons, and maybe it's because like the end times, and we just really have to prepare ourselves for the meeting Ilahi. So what do you have in store when you're preparing yourself? How about you read the Quran and then you actually see what do you like? What questions do you have? What things don't you understand? Like things like that. Ask yourself if there's something you don't understand. Look into the background history of it. If there's an ayat that you read and you're like, this ayat is not making sense. If that's how you feel, or why is Ilahi saying this? I don't like this. If that's how you feel, it's normal. I'll be honest with you. You're a human being. You're allowed to have these emotions. It's okay to feel these feelings. So just go research more. Go find out when was the ayah released, what was happening during that period. Find out the hadiths that relate to that ayah if you can. Or again, like I said, if you really want me to share, some stuff that the books that I read that was talking about, the background history of the ayahs, I don't mind sharing. Some of them are free. I could just share the links and stuff. So, but yeah, if you need that, let me know. Otherwise, good luck to you, and vote. If you're living in a country that votes, and always vote for liberals. And if your family and your parents don't want to vote for it, or your siblings, try to talk to them about it. Anyway, good luck, and you will be fine. It's okay to be sad about the situation, about Trump winning, but we will be fine because we have Ilahi. Ilahi has our back. And again, if you're sad about Palestine and what's going to happen to them, that's also okay. Ilahi wuxuu qoraa dhacayso. Adiga as a human, as an individual, there's not much you could do. To be honest, maybe Trump being in power is going to be good for them, or maybe it will be bad for them. Whatever happens, there's literally nothing you could do about it. So adiga, maxaa samayn kartaa hadda right now at this moment for your life, for yourself? You could vote. You could keep yourself educated in the deen. Prepare yourself in case of the end times dhacdo, and do the best you can. Take care of yourself, and yeah, that's it. Anyway, good luck. Bye. Badangala